Hey guys, John Watts here from the TruGolf Academy. Today's video is going to be about increasing your club head speed, generating some more power, hitting the driver further. And real quick, simple tips to help you do that. Ultimately, we've got to move the golf club quicker here. Now, how do we do that? If we can actually make a bigger backswing, that's really going to help us make a start point. If we can get that club further away from the golf ball. Now, I don't want to do it purely by lifting and gaining a lot of height. We can get away with that a little bit more with the driver because the ball's off a tee. And it is something you do see with the long drive guys, that they would increase their height in the backswing. But when we're talking about being able to hit not only the driver well, but actually irons, wedges, the whole lot, we don't really want to see players completely coming up and out of posture. So I'm looking for a player to maintain their back angle, but move that club a little bit further away from the golf ball. And I want you to do it by creating that bigger coil. And a big thing that golfers, in my opinion, do wrongly is they really try and restrict with the lower half, their lower body. We've got to allow the hips to open to allow the torso to open as well. There's very few golfers supple enough that they don't need those hips to rotate. Most elite golfers who are creating at least 100 degrees of shoulder turn are getting the hips turning about 45. But the number that's right for you will depend on a number of factors. How flexible are you? Have you got any injuries preventing you to coil correctly? If you are a little bit stiffer, then you're potentially going to need more hip rotation to allow more torso rotation. And I want you to think about loading your backswing correctly. So a great drill that you can do with me is we're just going to place an alignment stick, a tour stick, on the ground in between my feet. And I've got that on the inside of my trail thigh. That's my right thigh for me here. And what I'm going to try and do is just make sure that my shoulders turn at least to that white line, maybe behind it. Now, or maybe beyond it, sorry. But I also want it to be level with or behind it. I don't want to turn and hang over my lead foot here. I want to feel like I can rotate behind the golf ball, really loading my trail side. Now you'll see that's very different to this type of movement. I'm not asking you to move your head and your whole mass off the golf ball. I'm aiming to rotate and load that pressure down into that trail side. So I'm looking for my shoulders to rotate at least 90, which is at right angles to the target line, which would be level with this white line, this tour stick on the floor. If I can get beyond that, great. And loading up my trail side, so I'm getting it in line with this white stick. So I'm feeling like I'm over my trail side in my backswing here. That's that movement I'm really looking for. Now I'd make that move as much as you can and now then start to see, well, how much are my hips rotated to allow that? And it might well be that your hips have had to turn, depending on mobility, a third to maybe a half of how much your shoulders have rotated here. So really aiming for that big, big coil. Now, if I'm going up and gaining height in my backswing, what you'd start to see is the end of this grip is going to be pointing quite high out in front of me. I'd like it to be pointing down on the ground about 3 feet, a yard or so in front of the golf ball. And that starts to tell me that I'm loading correctly, but I'm also starting to maintain my spine angle. As I said, if you were just entering a long drive competition, you could gain height and try and get your arms up a little bit further because, again, more potential for speed there. Once you've done those drills, leave the cane there and just make a couple of practice moves, trying to make that big coil and feel like your arms are a little bit further away from the golf ball. Let's see if I can beat that last one. It was a pretty good shot. I got my club head speed up there to 105, ball speed 150, nearly 152. So I'm happy with that. See if I can crank any more out of it. I might not go as far because I just hit that little bit of a drifty fade. But I'm hoping the club head speed is still high because that felt great. I think if I'd drawn that would have been good. So I got that to 106.6 and I got the ball speed 1 mile an hour quicker. So if I'd hit the same ball flight, that would have been longer. I managed to gain 1 mile an hour, and I just do some speed training. If you've got a way of measuring it, that makes it great. It makes it really easy. If not, you're going to have to go off ball flight. But there's loads of ranges now that are going to start to give you some info. They're not going to tell you about the club, but they are going to tell you about the golf ball. Aim for that ball to be traveling as quick as you can, because that tells you it's good club head speed and good efficiency. You must have hit it somewhere near the middle of the golf club. Make those big coils. I know it's going to help you gain some extra yardage next time you're out on the golf course, and I'll see you guys next time.